Marvel has officially released how they planned and pulled off one of the biggest action sequences in the entire movie history. In this video, I'm going to break down how Marvel planned the final battle of Avengers Endgame and brought it to life on screen. So without any further ado, let's dive in. Number 1. Captain America lifting the hammer was always the plan for the final battle of Avengers Endgame. Chris Evans actually shot many different scenes where he lifts the hammer for the first time in many different ways. The scene we ultimately saw in the movie where Cap summons the Mjolnir wasn't the only way the Russo brothers were planning to shoot this scene. Reportedly, Chris Evans shot a scene where he slowly lifts the hammer from the ground when Thor was under attack by Thanos. Remember the scene where the hammer starts to float with that music in the background? This was originally planned for Cap to lift the hammer off of the ground, but the Russo brothers thought it's much more interesting and powerful if Cap just doesn't lift it but also summons it. Because when you have the ability to summon a weapon like that, it remains of no doubt that you will be able to lift it as well. Hence, they changed the shot and did it the way we saw it in the movie. Number 2. Beginning the final battle by blowing off the compound was the first thing that Marvel planned. Marvel always wanted the final battle of Endgame to happen on the surface of Earth. Why Earth? It's because Marvel is known for making stories and characters relatable, and a final fight happening somewhere in the deep space would not hit the audience emotionally, because there would always be a feeling like, oh, it's happening so far away from Earth, so everybody back home must not have any idea about what's been going on. And that is exactly what Marvel wanted to avoid. And by blowing off the Avengers compound, they perfectly set the stage for the background of the final battle, all fiery, dusty, and a little bit of darkness all around. In order to have the color that Marvel wanted, it was necessary to have a huge blow on the compound so it looks much more realistic and logical. Number 3. Marvel always makes a 3D demonstration before shooting actual live-action scenes with real actors. What this does is, it helps the actors because they know what the directors and writers are looking for. Even in the Battle of Titan in Infinity War, they had a perfectly made 3D battle that takes place in Titan, and all the actors and stunt doubles had to do was act like they were shown on the computer.
We would show them our previous material just to let them know, like, these are the certain things that you would be working with to get to this final product.
It's gonna look awesome. When Chris does it.
Marvel chooses to go this way is because most of these fights, the actors are fighting just the thin air. They're punching the air, throwing stuffs that don't exist, so how do you explain to the actors what you're trying to do? You just show them. And that's how the actors and the creators get on the same page before shooting an actual scene, which helps the actors bring real emotions on the screen, because they know even though they're fighting the thin air, but after the VFX work is done, it's gonna look a lot different. Number 4. Captain America's Avengers Assemble scene.
Avengers! Assemble.
It was always on the scripts that Cap is going to assemble all the Avengers. And so how does Marvel make this scene even more epic? They add the Mjolnir in the shot. Once again, Cap summons the Mjolnir and Iron Man takes a look at it. Just makes it way more exciting to see. So how does Marvel pull off the assemble scene? In order to have Captain America assemble everyone, everyone must be present, standing behind him, waiting for his command to strike. Which brings us to number 5, the portal scene. Marvel took 4 months to complete the portal scene. That's how much time it took to perfectly render this incredible scene. Because it all takes place in the same universe, so Marvel just uses the backgrounds from the other movies that they have on their database. For example, when the Avengers army show up through the portal, you can clearly see the Contraxia background from the Guardians of the Galaxy 2. And Marvel just pulls it off because they're all under the same universe. In the same way, when Valkyrie shows up, you can see the new Asgard in the background in the portal, which makes everything much more realistic and relatable, because then as the audience we know where everyone is coming from. So even though there's tons of superheroes coming through the portals, but because we have such clear vision of where everyone is coming from, we never get confused. And that's an amazingly planned execution from Marvel's end. The fact that all of these scenes look effortless is where Marvel succeeds. Their VFX team is so good at what they do, and their love for the characters just brings an extra extra edge to every scene that we see in the final battle. And that's how Marvel pulled off one of the toughest and craziest final battles of all time. The expectation level and hype around Endgame was way too high to exceed, and it's fair to say Marvel went above and beyond of that expectation level. And that would be it for today. I am the Canadian Lad. If you like my videos, don't forget to hit thumbs up and grab the subscribe button if you haven't already. See you lads in the next one.
Assemble.